I don't. Did you? I don't know. Like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
Hey,
Oh, you're back in your little nook.
I'm in the little corner in my own little chair.
Oh,
My own
perfect.
plate. Remember that from Cinderella? In my own little corner in my own little chair?
I do.
I'm very excited about today's show.
So am I. Actually, we have Julie Schurr waiting on us right now.
Great.
We are gonna let in Julie Schurr, who I should say we both know.
Yes, we do.
Been a friend for a long time.
Yes.
So let's bring her on. We can reminisce. Here we go.
Hey.
She's muted.
It's a mute. Is that a photo?
Oh no, it's a photo.
There we go.
There she is.
What? Wait.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Oh, this is so cool.
Hi.
Hi. How are you guys?
Actually, pretty good today.
Awesome.
I am so excited about today's show.
This is very cool.
Yeah, when she told me you were going to be on today, I was like, oh my God. It has been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
A minute.
Yeah. I just said to JD when we were opening that we've known you for like forever.
It's been forever. It really has been.
Yeah.
Let's not say how long forever is, because like I feel like young-ish, but I'm not.
You are.
Yeah. You are.
We all are.
You are. But yeah, like it's like been such a long time.
It really has.
I because of the project I'm working on, I'm going back to like old Lesbian Lounge podcasts and we had you on a lot. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, we used to badger you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But my favorite was when you came to town and we would get to hang out. We'd get to watch you play, but then we'd get to hang out after, which was always super
fun. That was great. Those are some of the best times in my life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We always had so much fun. And then we lost track of you.
Mm-hmm.
So bring us up
I
to
do
speed.
that.
What have you been doing since 2007?
Right? Last time I saw you was in Missouri when I was playing in that little coffee house that you played at.
Yes. Yeah. I moved around a lot and then I ended up back there. So, I mean, I'm trying to, am I okay? This is cutting the top of my head off a little bit, but I tried to say.
I think you're good.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, since 2007, a lot has happened. I live in Spain now, right outside Madrid.
Wow.
So that's different.
That's a life change. What led you to Spain? What led you?
That's kind of a long story. I was a woman, so we'll just go with that because I think that probably explains it all. Really.
But you love it.
I do. I'm still honestly, because I'm one of the only native English speakers here who actually has a legit work permit. I've been actually trying to avoid teaching because people are like, would you teach here? Would you teach there? Which is cool, but man, before I did music, I was teaching. After I did music, I was teaching. And honestly, I'm tired of teaching,
Yeah.
So my Spanish, that was actually a long explanation to say my Spanish isn't super great. That's the only frustrating thing about Spain though. I really do love it here. In fact, I am now a citizen of Spain. I have a birth certificate.
Wow.
That's how they do it here. They make up a fake hospital I was born in. The city I
Really?
was born in. Yep. I have a birth certificate, none of which ever happened.
Wait, you didn't have to take a
Interesting.
test?
Oh, I did. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
long process.
I was
for
gonna
me,
say, I had to
actually-
take a test, man. I had to
Yeah,
I
I
was
had
studying
to
like
take.
I was in 8th grade taking a, you know, a
It was
final.
intense. Yeah, I had to take a test about knowledge about the country. I had to take a Spanish level test. So my level it's not terrible. I can communicate with people, but when someone speaks really rapidly, I just kind of blink because people in Madrileños speak very fast. People from the north, it's actually a lot easier, but I think they're a little more chilled out. Before here, I got my master's in linguistics and discourse analysis, which was really awesome. So there are absolutely no jobs in that area at all in the world. So, but it's really cool. It's like making your dialogue, creating powerful dialogue, things that matter, knowing what words and what phrases humans kind of tend to use and how to use those efficiently and things like
different.
that.
It was different for me here. I had to learn what people drank.
Ah,
That was kind of it. Like I'm gonna do bartending, and you know, I had to learn the difference between an ale and a beer and a lager, you know, and an amber and a stout, and you know, that kind of thing. And they call things like brand names, you know.
oh, like hoovering. I've heard that.
Yeah, like hoovering.
Like, oh, it's not hoover, like,
The
Hoovering is
vacuuming.
just vacuuming, right? Yeah, yeah.
oh, what?
But like
So
when they would ask for a drink, they would ask for like a Di Serrano, and I would make them repeat it like 30 times, and then finally I just be like point, and they'd be like the orange square bottle with the brown top, and I'm like amaretto. Jesus. They're calling it by the
Oh,
brand name, you
they
know.
don't call it amaretto. They just,
No, they Di Serrano, Bacardi, you know,
oh,
like they just asked
Right, right.
things by their name. So yeah, it took a little getting used to, but I did not have like language barriers like you did. Like I had
Right.
dialect barriers. Like
I got some time barriers here, man. People eat at the weirdest time.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why are you eating dinner at 6? Because I'm hungry? No, 10:30. 10:30.
They eat
Yeah.
late, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
10:30, 11
Europeans
o'clock.
like though they all eat late because my neighbors are from France, and they
The same.
yeah, I'm locking up my house and everything at like 11:30 at night, and their smells are wafting in, and I'm like,
Yes.
ooh,
But
I
do they
smell
go to bed earlier then? I mean, later? Do they
yeah,
still
definitely
go to bed like regular bedtime? Probably not, right? Because
later.
Now, there are kids out on the street right now, and it's like 11:15, and
Yeah.
that will go on until about 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
But it's normal. It's weird.
I would do well there because I'm so nocturnal.
Julie,
Yeah.
do they have the afternoon nap thing like the siesta?
Yes, they actually, the school jobs I had, you actually get an hour and a half break or 2 hour break,
Really?
depending on the school. So people don't always go home and nap, but they can.
Yeah.
They go and take care of things during the day.
Yeah,
And then honestly, I do take a little siesta because it is, honestly, it's so hot here in the summer, but I'm
Yeah.
American.
yeah.
This summer was like a whole new level. I was
Oh
roasting.
yeah,
So yeah, people do kind of tend to just chill out in their apartments for a quiet hour and a half at the hottest part of the day, and then just resume normal activity.
yeah,
Like the bars here are open till 6 in the morning. I'm glad I wasn't here in my 20s.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Like this, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is.
do you-
I think that's why they eat later though, because they have that nice little break in the afternoon,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, and
Right.
that kind of holds them well past dinner time.
Yeah. And you eat your giant meal in the middle of the day. You eat
Right.
a tiny thing
Right.
at night.
Right.
See?
Makes
Okay.
sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So did you give up your American citizenship to get that citizenship, or you have dual? How does that work?
Okay, it's kind of complicated and no one talks about it. The US and Spain don't have an agreement on dual citizenship. So technically you give up your US citizenship, but the US nor Spain recognize it. They
Oh.
just say it. And you actually can't give up your US citizenship unless you literally apply and pay to give it up. So no, I'm always going to be both. The US
Oh,
holds on
okay.
to me for life for taxes. I owe
Ah,
it for the rest of my life.
That's the truth too.
Yes, there is no
there
escape.
you go.
Yeah, that's a 100. But as I, I kind of, wanted people to understand we were doing this interview, and I have to tell you, I'm so impressed with what you accomplished during lockdown.
Oh,
Like for God's sake, you were
I
making
don't feel like I
dog
did
treats,
anything.
making dog treats. You mastered churros, right?
What?
Didn't you master churros? You made
Oh,
churros?
no, Spanish tortillas.
Okay, that was
Ah.
They're very good, and I
But-
am still an expert.
your projects were like everybody else was just baking fucking banana bread. That's it. We were just watching the Great British Bake Off and making banana bread with our disgusting, gross old bananas
I don't like
that
banana.
we couldn't eat fast enough. So everybody was making banana bread. And here you were accomplishing like big things. Like big
I was
things.
trying to.
I know. Like I just like your journey was inspirational. Like
Thanks.
baking. And then you decided to switch careers altogether.
Yeah, actually,
I
since
love
the
that.
pandemic, I've been looking for something that fits me.
Fits
And
you. That's the
reason
important thing right
we
there.
reconnected is because I actually found something. I went through a few, I mean, it took me a bit because there's a lot out there I didn't know existed. My family's not, not into the economic, we know the normal jobs. I never learned about, what all is out there, but I actually found something that I feel not only, I know I can always be better and I'm just starting out, but I feel like I feel like I'm pretty good at what I do. And the most importantly, I love what I'm doing now. So I'm hoping that this will be the rest of my life situation. I've already got like a 5-year plan. And I'm not done with, my studies yet. I mean, we'll be soon, but yeah, I love it. It makes me feel like, makes me feel like the music did. And honestly, I didn't think I would ever find that feeling again because, I know you guys know, like getting off a stage, that rush, that is just something like, it is just something you really can't match. And this is very, very similar. And
Great.
but a totally different arena. So,
Right.
Yeah, so
And
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And I also want to find out, because even though we did have like a conversation about this, I don't think I asked you what led you to this. Like, how did you discover?
Okay. Yeah.
So let's talk about what
Yeah.
you're doing and all that, but how you got there too.
Sure. Okay. Well, what I'm studying to be, and I'm going to give a disclaimer here, is a life coach. And I know, as soon as the words come out of my mouth, I resisted it for a while because there's such a negative connotation stuck to this. I've decided I'm not going to call myself a life coach.
Good.
Just because it's a lot of people who didn't go to school for this weren't involved in accredited programs, didn't study, do the work, do the one-on-one practical mentoring, etc. No ethical pledges. They went out and they were like, I'm a life coach.
Yeah.
So, they kind of wrecked it for the props who were.
Yeah. It became like a joke. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it does actually, I avoided joining the class for almost 3 months just because I was afraid, this is gonna not be well received just because of the title.
Right.
However, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I think of myself as and I did borrow this term from someone else in the field, but I've been approved. I asked, I was like, can I? And they're like, yeah, sure. A success strategist, actually, which is, it kind of embodies the entire body of what I am doing. I am There are life coaches who, you know, do a ton of things. There are life coaches, you know, who work with businesses. My path is a bit more specialized. I have my own specialty. I would like to work with the LGBTQIA community because I feel we're underserved. And I would like to, within that community, I'm narrowing down a bit more, women over 30. What I'm focusing on is accountability and breakthrough, kind of helping people, holding people accountable for things they want to achieve, helping them find manageable, measurable steps towards their dream, holding them accountable to those steps, and also helping people with breakthroughs. Like, let's say you're, you know, 35, you want to go back to school, but you're looking in a very negative way. Like, oh, I'm old, I'm this, I'm that. You need a perspective shift. And, you know, once you can't, it's harder to do that in your own head. When you have someone else helping you, you have fresh eyes from the outside, helping you see maybe something you see as a weakness, you can reframe that as a strength. And that's what I'm working to help people do. So essentially, I was led here because I always wanted to go into counseling, but I was already so far along in English, and that I decided, no, I'll just go to discourse analysis, you know?
Yeah.
So I never followed that. And honestly, at this point, I didn't want 4 more years of school to, you know, be a counselor. However, counselors and therapists work from your past to where you are. What I love about being a coach is that you get to work from where you are now, looking forward. So everything is about your future. Everything is about positivity. And on top of the certification I'll have in this field and the ethical pledges and everything, I'm actually on my own taking, I had it written down because I always transpose the letters. It's REBT mindset course. So it's rational, emotional, behavioral therapy. So it actually helps you, I'll have the tools to kind of reverse those negative voices you have that kind of tell you you could never do this, because, you know, what, we all have a voice like that sometimes. So essentially I want to help women who are 30 and up, especially those in the lesbian community, be more assertive, more powerful, achieve their dreams. And I want to hold them accountable for the work they do to get themselves there, because they all have the tools already. They just kind of get buried by life, you know? I can help you move past that to where you want to be. And that is such an awesome feeling for me. When someone is like, hey, you know, I get in touch and I'm like, hey, you know, how did this plan go for you that we set up? How did this step go? And they're like, oh my God, this is awesome. You know, I'm doing this and this and this. It doesn't always happen that way, but I'm just starting, and, you know, it's about an 80% rate with people being really more positive about what they want to accomplish, you know, and that feels awesome to me.
That's great.
It's awesome. Fantastic, because I think that the things that I find when I'm stuck is that there is no one, like, you become really complacent with you dropping the ball. You're just like, whatever, you know, and whether it's dieting, whether it's deadlines, whether it's appointments, whatever, there's no real accountability if you don't do it, and you get complacent with that, you know, like, and that's why I didn't go to college. You know what I mean?
And it's very easy. It's very easy to let those negative feelings take over, and you can talk yourself right out.
We're not. There were, you know, like, not even that it's negative. It's just nothing happened because I didn't do it. You know,
right?
I'm not going to do it again.
You take on so much at once because you have to be superwoman. Like, oh, if I never did this, so now I'm going to bite off this mountain-sized task. And then be really negative with myself when I fail, because this is literally impossible. Instead of, you know, that's what I do. I help you set steps. So that you get better. Each step, you're more positive. you know,
Yeah.
and you have someone with you on the way. You know, I don't do the work. You do the work. I help you see that you can do the work.
Yeah.
And because I know you can, and I'm a cheerleader, you know, to help you kind of get out of the rut.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that you having a background in being a musician is probably a really good staple for this, because you already know the feeling of bringing joy to people with what you do. So being that cheerleader, you know,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
trying to see things from a perspective of like from being the onlooker, because you never miss anything when you're on the stage, right? You see everything that's
Right.
going on. But
Yes.
I love that you're focusing on the women over 30 to a degree, because that's a forgotten, and even like beyond that, like over 40 and 50, that's
oh
a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
demographic that people kind of forget about. And that's the demographic. I've been saying this a lot, right, Denise, with my show that I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
about my life and stuff, because I started playing music so much later in life professionally, that women especially talk themselves into that it's not possible to go after a dream after
Exactly.
30 and beyond that, because you know,
Exactly.
a lot of them have had their children, they've just gotten into life and they never went after their dreams. So I love that you are doing that, and you see that
It's really one of
demographic.
those. Jay and I, we talk about like reinventing yourself,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Like you were an accountant, you decided that's not what you wanted to do. You took on music, right? I was
Right,
a
right.
claims manager, a disability claims manager. It's not what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And we did it for so long because we fell into it. And, you know,
yeah.
you kind of go, well, yeah, I'm good at this. Or it's
I'm
not
comfortable.
challenging. It's not challenging. I'm paying the bills, you know, and then it's not until like you've been doing it for such a long time and you realize it's mundane, it's boring. For me, it was like looking at people's injuries and illnesses and all this stuff. You know, I used to pride myself on the fact that I could walk out the door at 5 o'clock and not take my stuff with me, you know,
Right, right.
not realizing that it was with me. Like I did lose sleep over the girl who was never going to get full mobility back in her
Aw.
shoulder, you know, and it was like, I can't, you know, but it sometimes it just hits you way late. And
Yes.
you decide that you want a change and a difference, and that part right there, figuring that out is overwhelming.
That's where I want
Yeah.
to help, because most of my life, honestly, the way I was raised, the things I went through, the things I had to heal from, honestly, I don't feel like my life started until 30. I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't graduate with my bachelor's until I was 27. I didn't have my master's until I was 37. I mean, I didn't have, you know, a house that was really safely my own until I was 35. You know, I moved to Spain when I was 40. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
people think their
Yeah,
life is over,
yeah.
but we have 40 more years at
Right,
40.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
women, especially women, I feel like, and
Mhm.
I, you know, women in our community especially are overlooked.
Yes,
Just
yes.
Underserved is a
they
perfect
don't.
word.
Yes, they're underserved, because I feel like, you know, well, they just are. You know, there's just not a lot of things out there geared directly towards lesbian women over 30. You know, and I mean, I will work with anybody. Obviously, I'm not going to turn anybody away, you know, but I want my niche, my specialty to be, and I'm a safe place. If you're coming out and you're 35, I mean, a lot of women don't realize. I mean,
Right.
I know someone who is 36 who just realized they're gay, a lesbian. You know, they just realized. I mean, navigating that alone is
Brutal.
terrifying.
Brutal.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
when you have children, you have this, you know what, but I take with my studies, with what I'm doing, I take the same pledge that therapists and counselors take. Unless you say you're going to harm others or yourself, police, no one can have any of your information. And I guard it with my life. Plus, there is no implicit bias going on. because gay lady who is very masculine coming out of a very conservative religious background, I know what it's like to have people say, oh no, I don't bring that to work. I mean, a lot of people bring that to work with them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and
Mhm.
there is no judgment here. You know,
Right.
as long as you're not hurting people, honestly, I'm happy if you're happy, and that goes for everyone in the world. But
It's a great target though. It's a great target because
It is, yeah.
I'll tell you, for me, I always felt like if you weren't a bet porter from the L word, if you weren't a bet porter, you were underachieving, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and not everybody is a bet porter, you know,
No.
like,
Exactly, right.
and
But we're
if
told
that's
we
what you
should
want to
be.
be, and you know, you still need help getting there.
Right.
So I always felt like there was this extreme, like the power executive lesbian, you know, and then the softball lesbian who nobody really takes seriously. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yes, but both those people have dreams. Both those people
Right.
have goals
That's
for a year
right.
from now.
Don't
And
exactly
they're both equally important and equally difficult, you
right.
know? So
But
that's why
someone
people,
in what you're doing for people is you're letting them see they, you know, the people, women in that position can't always see they can be, they do have that potential, but they need someone to tell them that. And
yes,
sometimes it takes someone showing you like what you're saying you do and help people, you give them the tools and then they have to do the work.
yes,
It lets those voices that tell you when in your like early morning hours, when you first wake up in the morning, sometimes that's when for me, that's when you start hearing all of the negative stuff, or I never did this, or I didn't do this in time, or I need to do this, and I didn't do that right, that then they have someone like you to fall back on to show them that they're going askew, because you need to
Yeah.
stay on the
right.
path
To
and
remind you,
stay
for instance,
focused.
JD, did you try the things that you're saying you didn't do right? Did you try? Okay, so it
Exactly,
didn't work.
right.
That's actually a positive because you know one thing that doesn't work. So now you can take it to a different position, shift
Right.
position. It's not a failure. It's not a failure. And we condition ourselves to think, well, I tried this thing and it didn't work. So I am an abject mess. I'm a failure. This person. But what we don't see is that other people are working for years and years and years, some maybe for 2, some maybe for 20 to get to the same place. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe they try 15, 20 different things and they cry about
Exactly.
it in their house, but they get to where they want to be. It's steps. And
Yeah.
it's just finding steps that work for your life and work for your schedule and work for
Right.
your family. And, you know, but all the work is really coming from you because you've got everything you need to get to where you want to be. I truly believe that within reason. I'm not going to say someone tells me I want $10 million next year. Well, what do you do? I don't do anything. I can't help you. That is not realistic. But,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I
Go
mean,
scratch a lottery ticket.
right. But I mean, if someone says, I want to build a tiny house, for example, I
Which
built a
you
tiny
did.
house.
You
Yes.
did.
But I couldn't build a tiny house. Oh, you've never built anything. Yeah, but I have eyes and I know how to use YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm going to build it. And I built
Yeah.
it. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's damn good and it's still standing. And I will say that is an accomplishment I will
I
always
remember your
I do
tiny house.
too, yeah. You know, the
probably
thing
full
of
of
it is
spiders and chickens now.
a lot of times, like Jay, you said you wake up in the morning and sometimes that's when your voices are the loudest.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
it's like you're starting the day already daunted, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like, and I know, and believe me, I know people that do like the affirmations, you
Yeah.
know, like, and then like that whole Stuart Smalley, you know, and I'm strong enough, I'm smart enough, and damn it, people like me. It's like, that's fine, whatever you have to do. But when you're already starting on the back foot, that, you know, ends up becoming habitual, you know? And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
when you
definitely.
allow someone in your life, like a coach, that's someone that's bringing a fresh perspective and, you know, a way of seeing things that you're blocked from seeing, you know?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I think that's the difference is, and I noticed this because like you know, we all went through this period of isolation, you know, it's finally a common ground that we can
Yeah.
all say we did, you know, and how it affected us. And again, some people were perfectly cool with it. Like me, I'm still doing it. I may never go back to the other way. I'm totally happy with it. But
Same.
when you spend a lot of time in your own head, you're really limited to your different perceptions of things, you know, and I do think that you need someone to bounce stuff off of, you know, and, you know, it, like you said, maybe having that, that privacy to do it with someone one-on-one.
Mhm.
And they actually are, I prefer telecalls because it
Yeah.
actually removes any distraction. It makes people more
Yeah.
comfortable. So I handle everything. Right now, I don't have a dedicated, like, because I do international. So right now, WhatsApp and Facebook calls are what I do. But that actually helps
That's
as
great.
well.
I mean,
because
then,
you
like,
are
so what? You don't want to have your hair and
completely
makeup done for the call, you
no,
know?
you can
Yeah.
be lying naked on the couch. It doesn't matter. And the thing is, there's less judgment. You don't have to worry. Am I looking at your hair?
Yeah.
Do I notice that your house is messy? No, I don't. First of all, don't care. But second, can't see it.
Yeah.
So there's less there. And
Yeah.
JD,
Yes.
you wake up a lot of mornings with these negative, kind of this
Yes.
negative self-talk going on. Would you mind if I threw out just an idea that has actually worked for 2 of my clients?
Sure.
It may not work for you, so this is totally up to you, but I want to share it. So those voices, like Denise was saying, like they take hold, especially after the pandemic. They just gain control, they gain power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's not you. It's not you. It's something that snuck in there that someone else said. Just the negative stuff it picked up. It's like a snowball effect.
Mhm.
So what
Mhm.
I would love to suggest to you is try this if you wouldn't mind. I don't know how censored this needs to be. How censored needs to be.
Do we censor?
Do I need to censor my talk? Can I say
No.
it?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. JD, when you hear that voice, I know it's not easy to catch it first. It might take some practice, but when you hear it in your head, it's not you. So what I want you to say back to it is, "Fuck you. That's not true. Fuck you. Fuck
Yeah,
that." No, and seriously,
I will.
you take some of that. If you're combating that voice that's not you, but the voice that is yours, you're not only noticing how often it happens, but you're also taking power away from it. Because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
another positive voice yelling over it. Fuck you. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I will
They
do
just
that tomorrow
wake
morning.
up out of bed like
No.
this.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? I try it
Yeah.
myself and it sounds silly, but sometimes I'll say it out loud because I mean, there's nobody around who cares. You know, if I get one of those negative thoughts, which I do a lot, I mean, I think most of us are in that spot a lot of
Oh,
times.
yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my God, you're never gonna, and I'm just like, oh, fuck you. And I just say it out loud.
There's key
The
words,
voice,
isn't there? There's a
after a
lot of key
while,
words like
it
never,
stops.
not, you know,
Yes,
like
that's
those,
right.
like,
fail, can't,
yeah,
couldn't.
yeah,
All
That's
those
the-
are
those are the words.
bullshit.
Pew, 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 pew.
It's
Yeah.
bullshit that somehow we've given power to.
Yeah,
Because
it's true.
bullshit.
Yeah,
I will. Thank you for that tip. I will give that a
Yeah.
shot tomorrow morning because yeah, because you know, I think I hear that from a lot of people that it's the first thing when you wake up in the morning. A lot of people that are struggling with things that they feel unaccomplished or things they didn't try for hard enough.
Mhm.
It's that first thing when you wake up and it hits you because when you get in your day, you get busy and you just don't think about it then. But
right.
yeah,
That's
and
not a great way to start the day.
it's
Yeah,
not a great
exactly.
way, you know, when you gotta like for me, like I put the TV on, my friends inside the TV.
Mhm.
For Hallmark buddies.
I escaped
The
to
Hallmark
Reba and the Golden Girls. Yes, the Golden Girls are my morning friends in the TV.
Those are
But
good friends.
Of course they are.
You gotta
yes,
have some Sophia in your life.
yes, they all have.
Everybody should have a Sophia in their life.
But you know what I think too, it's great having you know, someone like you and the services you provide to help people, because when we hear stories of the success stories of people, like the really successful musicians or successful athletes and actresses or whoever, they always usually skip over that big gap. And you probably know this from being in the music business, of you started out and then there you are, like they kind of, and then they may say, oh, they struggled a bit, they lived in their van for a while down by the river, and then they just bam, like there's so
One
much
day it was
gap.
magic.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's so much of a gap, and they never explain how they went from A to Z, and being in reality, there is a space there of time that we don't always realize, that we have to keep going back and trying again. So to have someone keeping it real for you and telling you, it doesn't mean you
Keeping
need
it
to give
real.
up.
I like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
life coaching it's not for everyone, or success strategist. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I mean, I feel like the people who do want to move forward, it's good to have people when you're trying to accomplish something and you have a really, you have a goal in mind, or you have something you really want to change in your life, whether it's negative, or, you really want to shift jobs, or you're really unhappy in an area. What they're not talking about, like you mentioned, they're not telling you all the people who stepped up and had their back. And
Yeah.
not everybody has the money to pay 50 people to follow them around and have their back and hype man.
Right.
I'm essentially, I'm a hype man with a bit more of a professional bent and more training. So
Yeah.
I don't want to call myself a hype man, but I mean,
Perfect though. It's true.
it is. I work for you to help you get the success that I truly believe you can get. You're holding yourself back, no one else.
Yeah.
What's cool about it though is that it's the same thing you do, like again, the target audience being like the over 30 lesbians, right?
Right.
So say from like 20 to 30, you would do this with your best friend, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
But now your best friend is married and has kids, and you're spending less and less time. That person's not holding you accountable the way they used to.
It's
right.
But I do feel like the clientele that's going to reach out are the ones that want to do the work.
And that's who I want. I want clients who want to do the work, because honestly, I will push you, not like I'm not a boot camp, but I will push you to
not a gym bro.
A lot of people don't, they set their limits really low because they think they can't.
Right.
Yes.
I will encourage, if you want to do, let's say, I want to, start walking more. Okay. Can you walk half a mile? Okay. What do you think about 3/4? Like, could you maybe push it to that? Like, let's just push it a little bit past that comfort zone. No, we're into like, I'm not gonna, like, again, it's impossible to bite off the mountain and handle it and do well. Right. You're gonna half-ass everything, and you're gonna fall apart. You're gonna be tired. And you're gonna give up, and that's not my goal. People who want to do the work, those are the people I want to work with, because I'm gonna work really hard for you, because I believe in you. I don't want you to fail, because I take that personally, and that's probably something I need to work on. Yeah. But I will take it personally. I'll be like, I didn't do well enough. I wanted to help you, so.
Right.
I think this is like so right up your alley.
It feels like home. Like,
yeah.
It feels like music.
But do you think, is it because you recognize from being a musician and from people telling you what your work in that arena, meant to them, like you understand what it was like to have a cheerleader, to have a group of cheerleaders,
right?
And what it did for you,
And also the exact opposite. For music, yes, I know how powerful just one message from someone you've never met. Yeah. When you're having like the days talking about when, I did live in a van. I mean, I was living in a van. And, like some days you're sitting in the van, and I would just bawl my eyes out because, the last 3 shows sucked, and how am I going to pay the bills, whatever. I get a message from someone I have never, I don't even remember the person, not because I'm evil, but because, you know, it's been a few months.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right.
just like, hey, I listened to this and it made me feel so good. And man, that changed my whole world at that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I would say thank you, but there was no thank you big enough.
Yeah.
But
Right,
also,
exactly.
like not having cheerleaders and knowing how hard it is
Yeah.
to, like, I had a lot of people who were negative about me going back to school at my age. When I went back for my master's, they were like, you're not going to be able to keep up with them. You know, they're kids and blah. I did 2 masters in the time that my 22-year-old colleagues did 1. So I don't want to hear it. Yes, it was a horrible,
Wow.
terrible thing. But you know
Yeah.
what? This old person, I did it. And it was out of spite, honestly, because people were like, you can't do that. Oh, you can't build a tiny house. You can't go on tour. No one's going to listen to this. Like, it's not having a cheerleader also makes
Yeah,
me,
right.
you know, I want to be that for people. And yes, I'm getting paid, but also it's an investment in yourself. Like I'm
Yes.
not there
Yeah.
for you just because you're paying me. I set
Right.
my rates below the median because honestly,
That's important
do
right
need-
there. Say
well,
that again.
I set my rates, but I looked at the national average, I found the median, and I went below. Because honestly, I'm just starting out. If I raise my rates in the future, it will be because I have a lot of people trying to contact me. I have continued learning through this school I'm in. I will have the experience necessary to charge the rates, to raise the rates to what I raise them to. Right now,
Yeah.
I am below, I'm well below no, I wouldn't say well below. I'm competitive. I didn't set them so low because I mean, that makes you kind of seem as if you don't know what you're doing. And honestly, I'm doing a lot of work for this. I do want to be fair to myself as well. But I'm just starting out. So until I'm certified, my rates are actually much lower. Once I'm certified, they'll be still below the median because I think that's fair during my first 1 to 2 years. And
I mean,
from there, I'll see.
We're in shitty times.
We
you know,
are.
like
Yeah.
everything, inflation and
Right.
you know,
And I do want people to be able, I want this to be accessible, you
and
know, to most
achievable.
people.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it isn't a cheap product, but it's also not, it's worth a lot. You know, if you want,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, it's, you know, I'm not charging a car for this, which I know a lot of people are charging
Yeah.
insane amounts
Especially-
for this. It was
And
like,
especially since you're helping women, you know,
Right.
women sometimes are juggling a lot of different
Right.
things, supporting
Exactly.
I feel
children.
like they have far more expenses than men.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
we got far more expenses.
Just even the pink tax
Yeah.
alone makes our lives more expensive, even if we don't have kids. I mean, every day
Right.
you buy a razor is twice as that much as, you know, it's
Exactly.
insane. So
Yeah.
no, and actually, you get a free session with me to begin because
Right.
honestly, I mean, that sounds like a giveaway to attract people, but with coaching, it's actually not because 20-minute session to begin is to see if I can actually help you with what you want help with. Maybe if I can't, there's no use in
Right.
you saying, oh, I want 3 months with you. Well, I don't know what to do with that because this
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
something I have knowledge
Yeah.
about. I can refer you to someone probably, but you know, I mean, it's not me, you know. Also, you know, to see if, you know, how big that issue is. You know, if somebody says, hey, I want better time management. Well, that's really huge. So, you know, if they say, well, what if I need, you know, what do I need, a 6-month package? Well, I don't know. That's why we need to talk.
Right.
Because
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah.
you have a time management thing that we can solve relatively quickly. Then I'm not giving you 6 months because the rest of the other, you know, 3 months, let's go, or a month,
Yeah.
do a month, try a month. You know, if it's small, I'm not going to sell you 6 months, or we're just going to be sitting on the phone. I'm going to feel like an idiot. You're
Yeah.
going to be
It's like a
upset, you know?
consultation, kind of, you know, like I know most people that, you know, when they're seeking out a service, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's a doctor, or whether it's a supplier of something or whatever, you want to feel comfortable. So,
Right.
you know, like
Right,
that's like
right.
a nice idea. Like here's
Maybe they don't like
20
talking
minutes
to you.
free. Right, we'll have
I
a
mean-
conversation, see how you feel. I'll tell you what I can and can't do. You tell me what
Sure.
you need, that kind of thing. That makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
It's
That's
kind of
good
a
business.
match. It's to see if we match. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't want you to work with me if you're not comfortable. I don't
Right.
want to work with you if I can't help you.
Right.
You know,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
that's what it's 20 minutes, and it's free, and that's that's for the life of my career, which I hope is very long in this field. I mean, I'm not gonna
Right.
start anything without that, because I feel like it's kind of cheating both me and the client.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. Let's talk about how people, well, first, long-term, we
Yeah.
talked about this. So Julie and I have come up with a game plan that we're gonna have her on once a month for the next 5 months. And at that 5 months, at that 5-month mark, she will be launching officially because
Ah.
we'll have
I will be
those credentials,
certified
right?
in January.
Right. So in the meantime, people can still contact you.
Oh yeah, I've passed all of the criteria to coach now. I have to do one-on-one mentoring with a master coach, a master certified coach who is also recognized through the International Coaching Federation. So it's pretty strict. They have to be approved through that federation to coach and do work with me. And I have actually achieved all the goals and met all the criteria necessary to coach at this point. I just have more work to do, some exams, etc., before I'm actually certified. So yeah, I actually have been cleared to coach. So I am technically a coach,
Okay.
just pre-certification.
So
Okay.
let's wrap up with how people can get in touch with you now.
Sure. Yeah. I am still building everything. So I actually threw together really quickly, which hopefully will be better soon, a little Facebook business page. So my coaching business is actually called Ep96 Coaching, which I know doesn't roll off the tongue, but it will all make sense when it is built. So Equis, EQUIS point. So it's X marks the spot, because your brain is a treasure map. You're on a journey to find that X, and I'm going to help you find it, essentially. They can find me there on Facebook. They can find me, Julie Schurr, on Facebook. I'm there. You can message me there. I prefer a message through WhatsApp. If you don't have
Okay.
WhatsApp, it's free. I know it's not huge in the US, but I'm working with anybody who is an English speaker. I don't care what country you're located in. If we make the time work, we're good.
Yeah,
And
and WhatsApp's Wi-Fi based, so wherever
oh
someone
yeah,
has Wi-Fi, they
it's
can reach
perfectly
you.
fine. All the calls are free, and they're always really good quality.
And
I'll go
I
through
believe they're
Messenger
encrypted.
too.
They're encrypted too.
Yes, they are.
So they're
Yes.
safe and it's private, right?
They are. I'll do Facebook calls too, but again, WhatsApp is usually a little bit better. Is it cool if I just say my number? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, unless it's on the Facebook page.
I mean, I've got it on the Facebook page, but it's I'll just say it. It's +34 693 929 390. 693 Yes, I have all the 3s and 2s and 9s. So yes, it's country code +34 6939 29390. And that's at my direct business line. And then julieschurr.info@gmail.com. I'll have a professional email soon, but not until the website in domain name.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of steps.
Yeah,
to
it's a lot.
get a
Yeah,
business around. Yeah.
Little by little, every week I've got a little bit more done. So yeah, it's JULIESCHURR.INFO, like information @gmail. So yeah, if you want a free session, reach out to me. Let me know what's going on, what you're looking for, and I'll work with your time zone as much as possible. I've got weird hours. We can have a little mini session, see if it's something that might interest you. Because everybody who hears about it here gets the special discount.
Okay.
I mean, it's a thank you, you know?
It's
Rainbow code.
It's the rainbow remix.
There you
Just
go.
like
It's the
it,
rainbow. Yes.
remix.
Tell me you heard it on the rainbow remix, and I will extend because I realize a lot of people may not, you know, get into this until after I'm certified. But I'll give you the pre-certification rate, which is significantly lower,
Beautiful.
if you
Fantastic.
latch on with the rainbow remix.
I told Julie that, you know, now we're being played in South Africa.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah, so it's Gay SA Radio, it's Gay South Africa, Gay SA Radio, and they play us every Tuesday at 1:30
That's so cool.
Central Africa time.
Hey, you picked the show. Hi,
Yeah,
South Africa.
how's it South Africa? We're on their they're on, actually it's like a nice fit because their slogan is Gay SA Radio, where you are family, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like we're being played on their Pride Remix show. Our name is Rainbow Remix. It's like
Yeah.
we're meant to be. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Hand
this
in
is part of
glove.
their family.
Love.
Maybe they'll get some clients from there. I don't know the time difference. I don't know the time.
You know what? I'm 7 hours. I'm 1 hour ahead of you. 7 hours ahead of you. Like it's 11.
Yeah.
Here,
She's eating dinner at 11, you know, it's all different.
Honestly, no, I've been taking calls from the US until 11 midnight because a lot of people aren't off work until 5 Central
Right,
Time.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for a 20-minute call, that's fine. If someone buys a 3-month package from me, we're gonna have to figure out something a little bit better. But you know what? I've got a flexible schedule. I like this job partially for that reason. You know, I'll work around your schedule as much as humanly possible.
Time zone math has become part of my daily life.
Weird, isn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
Do it all the time.
Yeah.
5 your time, 10 my time, 6
I
his time. But
don't want to bog you down with the details, Jay. I do the math. I
Thank
pass
you.
along the info to you.
I appreciate you being the global keeper of time for me because that makes it easier for me.
I feel much
But we-
appreciated.
Before we let Julie go, I have to tell you a couple of things. My niece Joni says hello. She was a fan of yours when you played. She's got your CDs. I had gotten some
Joni.
CDs from
It's
you.
the message from the beyond that makes me
Oh
just,
my God!
I'm
Yes.
getting all teary.
I know,
She
now I
said-
feel bad. I told Gemma I would tell you because Gemma said, "Oh my God, you're going to have Julie on the show." I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I just listened to her music the other day."
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, she was listening to Been So Long. She sent me that video. And Girl in Shining Armor, that song. So she says hello. I think she had a little bit of a girl crush on you back then. But she's like, she wanted me to say hello. She couldn't be here
Joni,
today.
right?
Joni.
Joni.
Thank you. You made my day.
Absolutely, it's the truth. She knows all the words. She was singing the song today. I was at work and she sent it to me on my phone and I was playing it. She was singing along, so I told her I was going to say hello to you.
That makes me feel like that feeling, and it's indescribable. And thank you tell Gemma I said thank you too, because
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like when you realize that you made an
forget
impact on people.
that it's still out there, that people are still listening. Like I forget
definitely.
because you know what? I play sometimes for fun, but I haven't done a show in years. You know, I haven't done a show in the grid. And you know, I kind of mourn it sometimes. You know, I love it. I kind of mourn it a little bit, not totally sad, but a little bit. But hearing stuff like this, I'm like, it's still alive. Like it's still alive.
Yeah, that's a good
feeling.
feeling.
Yeah.
I wanted you to know that because I know that's a good feeling when you don't know people are listening, you know, and here it was just like, I called her today and I go, "You're never going to believe who's on the show today." And as soon as I said that, she's like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you
I do feel like Donna would flip out if I told her.
Oh my God, tell her.
Yeah.
Tell her just so she flips out.
She's very wrapped up right now. She has a new grandbaby. So
she has way more interesting things.
She's like on the other side of the country, like in Oregon, sniffing that baby's head like crazy. new car
Don't,
smell
I
and all
cannot
that, you know.
compete with small
The new
children.
baby
This,
smell.
no, new baby
Yeah.
smell. I mean, I'm cute. I have cool music. New baby smell. There's no
Hard to
concept.
compete,
Yeah.
hard
Over.
to compete with the
So I
grandchild.
can't get in, like, I can't get in to give her
She's
the
gone.
info.
She's gone for now.
But yeah, once she's over the new car smell, I'll definitely drop that little, I'll just send her the link.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So we're gonna have you back then, end of September,
Yes.
right? And we're gonna talk about the next phase of this, where we're
Yes.
at, where we're going as we're getting closer and
Yeah.
closer to the big January month.
All
And
right.
yeah, I hope people reach out. I hope that
I
there's
do
more-
too. I
yeah,
mean, it
I
can't
like
hurt. You know,
success
I mean,
strategists.
more information, et cetera, et cetera. You're not making any kind of commitment just to contact me and see what's up. You know,
Yeah, I love it. I love
maybe it
success
turns out to be for
strategists.
you, and maybe no. You know, but
Mhm.
Well, let's hope. I feel like a lot of people out there need it.
Everyone does, yeah.
Mhm.
I feel the same. But I think it's it's personal timing too. You know what's good for your life right now. You know, and if you feel
Yeah.
it's time to do that work, I'm here. You know, if you feel like not right now, well, I'll be around. So
Yeah.
it's
Yep,
It's
yep.
fantastic. It's a great idea, and it's like you said, it's such a perfect fit for you. Honestly, I'm
Mhm.
so happy.
Mhm.
I'm so happy for you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so
Well,
much for having me. It's been so much fun. I love seeing you guys again.
I can't
Oh,
wait.
same
Now I can't.
here.
Now I can't
I'm
wait till next month.
inspired.
This
I'm
makes
totally
Inspired.
inspired.
yes.
You're gonna wake up.
Ah.
I want you to wake up like that.
See?
Send me a
It's
picture.
happening already.
All right. Love you guys.
Nice
Take
talking
it
to
easy.
you.
We'll talk to you next month. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Why do you always run back to
Like never stop chasing your dreams.
once knew? You're addicted to her touch.
There,
That's true.
See?
And I confess, my addiction is you.
We drank way too much whiskey.
Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you.